Good morning, beautiful souls. Happy Friday. It is Tim residing in the woodland realm, checking in on the energies, seeing what's coming through. And how have you all got through Solstice week? How's it been for you? I mean, in the UK, we were just utterly blessed with the most beautiful weather. It's been sunny, it's been hot. There's an ant crawling towards me, and basically it's been really beautiful, but the intensity has been it's been off the charts. It really has been off the charts. We know these spiritual dates are going to bring changes. We know that they're going to bring shifts in energy. There's been huge and kind of like, almost like very generous quantities of information from the higher realms, sort of saying, we're doing this, we're doing that, we need assistance with certain aspects of it, make sure that you're ready, and giving a framework for kind of the operations, which they do every year, but this year is different. It's when David and I did our workshop together on the solstice, bringing in the angelic, the angelics, the dragons, the unicorns, to begin alchemizing the very solid, very kind of set, almost impenetrable structures of 3D. It was quite a sight to behold. We do these visualizations, we bring this energy in, we kind of place our hands on our hearts, we close our eyes, we see it, we feel it, we hope for the best. We place our trust in the universe that what we're asking is going to actually occur. And I just saw the most incredible movement of very intense activity from the heavens. They are pouring in to what we regard as the 3D matrix before. I've had a few comments over the past few videos, could I possibly stop referring to the 3D matrix as the 3D matrix? Well, the short answer to that is no, I can't, because that's what it is, okay? We need to kind of be aware of, or more accepting of, the polarity on this planet. Just because something is what we regard as, okay, it's dark, it might be it might be shadow, it might be something that's frightened us in the past or threatens the integrity of our energy. The higher we raise our vibration, these things become, they bear no consequence. Obviously we have to deal with the way that it affects us, but that becomes almost like a second nature, a bit like getting up in the morning, cleaning your teeth, having a shower, to acknowledge and be at peace with what we regard to be the shadow aspects of our existence, is a step on the pathway to ascension. To reject something, to completely reject something, to be frightened of it, to be completely at opposition with it, is still retaining that imbalance of polarity. So where I'm going with this at the moment, this morning, I've seen this incredible downflow of light coming in, and it's aimed directly at the third dimensional structures. Now I'm not going to use the favorite Facebook trigger words of the institutions, okay, be they financial, be they positions of kind of authority. All of these structures are the ones that kind of hold that the matrix, the third dimensional matrix, the old way in place, and they're very much trying to establish a much more controlling system. That's what all of this fuss has been about, the stuff that we've witnessed, the constant invitations to go back to the 3D fear party. And at the moment, as we raise our vibration and as the light pours into these shadowed areas, the ones that were not visible before, it becomes less and less of what we would regard as an issue. And I feel and see this is because we've begun to raise our consciousness and our vibration, to a point now where we are observing this. But we're observing it not from a passive, so much of a passive. We are part of the operation and the team that is busy breaking down these old crystallized structures that have been in place for thousands and thousands of years. Now, as well as what's going on, what is being, you know, the target, the light is being very much targeted specifically. Okay, so you've got the teams of the dragons, the teams of the angels, the unicorns, the ascended masters. Everybody is kind of pouring this light into the planet. Now, I've spoken about the effects of this previously. As soon as this occurs, it releases the guy ropes that are holding these old structures in place. And at that point, they don't just simply disappear, they begin the process of alchemy. Okay, now, very interestingly enough, David Essery saw a very beautiful Merkaba being placed around the Earth called the Earth Merkaba, and this is what we were working with in our workshop. So as the last few days or weeks of the storm layer is taking place, the storm layer which is around the planet, if you want to know more about it, please check my website, there's information on there. I've spoken about it previously in my videos. So the storm layer is entering its last month or 6 weeks before the beginning of the Lion's Gate, and to assist with the final clearing, there's just this amazing looking and it feels incredible as well, angelic structure that's been built around the planet called the Earth Merkaba. So all of this light and all of this intense energy that's pouring in, that's being specifically targeted towards the powerful institutions, the ones that control with money, with kind of the way that societies are set up, and the way that they're trying to kind of usher in all of these, this kind of what they call the fourth industrial revolution, or the great reset. All of these things that are occurring have been specifically planned to maintain the third dimensional matrix in a state of integrity, basically making sure that it survives the ascension process of the planet. So all of this is now pouring in, as well as the solstice energies, which means that you and I are going to be feeling far more of what's going on around us. You might be more aware of other people's emotions. You might be more aware of other people's energies. People might be, you know, like, for once of a better word, freaking out a little bit because they're picking up stuff, or more stuff than they would do normally. Emotions are heightened. Fields are full of, you know, like triggers, and everything is being tailored to ensure that we have the opportunity to see the reflections around us that we need, and to start releasing the deeper triggers. Now, I spoke about this last night in the fourth workshop that I did with Mir Kafkios with the One Unity Generation. In order to completely rise above our earthly challenges, to be in that very enviable position of what we would regard the angelics, where they can witness scenarios going on, and they do it from a higher perspective. Obviously, I've often wondered how the angels have coped with seeing how we've progressed on planet Earth over the hundreds and thousands of years, the way that we've treated each other, the way that we've treated the planet, the way that human beings, when given the option of polarity, will very often take the darker path and act completely in accordance with their lower will rather than their higher will. And I've said to myself, well, I wonder how it actually is to be an angel seeing this, and whether the angels are emotionally triggered. And my conclusion, and having spoken to them, is they have to work on their detachment the same way as that we do. Okay, so an angel exists for service. Okay, they are heart-centered beings. They do not have the ego that we have. They are aware of the ego, and they have learnt through observing us how an ego is, but how an ego affects us, but they don't actually have the egoic reactions that we do. So how is it to stand from this higher perspective in the 7th, the 8th, the 9th dimensions, looking down on humanity, unable to intervene or intercede without permission, and just simply having to view it? And it would be the same for our guides, it would be the same for our personal angels and everything. And I've kind of digressed a little bit, because that's ultimately where we're going. That's ultimately what our target is, to be able to witness, obviously with compassion, what is occurring around us, but without being emotionally triggered and engaged with it. And that comes when we have done the significant quantity of self-work, ego, working on the ego, working on our shadows, because the whole point of what we're going through at the moment is to release the triggers. Now, a trigger will be in your bodies and your fields and your reactions, kind of on a physical, mental, emotional, spiritual level, because you have experienced something similar previously. Might have been in this lifetime, might have been in a past lifetime, might have been your last lifetime. You might have been involved in a war, you might have been involved in the final days at the fall of Atlantis, or something which is going on, which will now be constantly triggering your alarm bells. And of course, we get to the point where we do enough work to get to that state of elevation, so we can witness with compassion what is going on around this planet without being tuned into it, connected, triggered, and ultimately emotionally invested in situations that are needing more light rather than more fear and more anger. So everything that you're going to be experiencing at the moment, everything between the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere, obviously the winter in the south, and the Lion's Gate, this is a huge, and I mean huge, period of personal and planetary clearing now. I mean, I probably say something similar every year with each operation that occurs during this incredible ascension process. Things get bigger, things get more intense, there's more assistance, more is released. But I genuinely witnessed something so incredible occurring that I was like, right, okay, how do we as light workers actually deal with what is going on? And the answer was very simple, and I've seen this pattern reflected in quite a lot of people who are working, full time with these energies, fully committed to the ascension on the planet. And that is to step back and actually relax, take a breath, realize that everything is in hand, but it is going to be marching forwards regardless of whether we're comfortable with what is occurring or not. So take some rest and some integration and some time for yourself if you feel you need to do so. And it's an interesting thing that I've seen as a pattern within me, that I feel that if I'm not pushing all the time, that I'm off the spiritual pathway. I feel if I'm not constantly surging forwards and experiencing that kind of almost addictive endorphin rush of forward movement, that the entire ascension process is going to collapse, or something's going to occur because my eye is off the ball. That is completely the opposite of the way things are at the moment. As this work occurs on a personal level, for me, for you, for everybody else involved in this shift, as all of the help and the assistance and the light floods into the planet, take that time to step back, get centered, and actually absorb and enjoy the frequencies that we're receiving. So say for example, we've got July. July is the kind of the month in between the solstice and Lionsgate. Have a think about doing the things that you want to do. Relaxing, walking, might be breath work, might be a detox, might just simply being having fun with your family and your friends. If you're doing this, you're not taking your eye off the ball, you're not taking your eye off the prize. You are simply moving into a state where you are more aligned with your heart center. So although we are being asked to put everything, all aspects of ourself into this mission, we're also simultaneously being asked to relax and let all of this flow in. And when we need to take time, to take that time, because that time is that personal space is extremely important. Now also I see a huge amount of people going through personal changes as this occurs. You know, the soul path calleth, and all of a sudden when that soul path presents itself in the manner that they invariably do, bearing in mind this is your master lifetime, okay, this incarnation, the one that you know, the soul personality that is listening to this recording, this is your master lifetime. You haven't come here to do half a job. You haven't come here to just kind of like faff around on planet Earth and have a little bit of fun and then go back again. Well, you might have done, but you will have invariably signed the soul contract to experience that. The majority of you listening to this, because you are focused on what is going on, will be just stepping into, or will have already stepped into, your master role. And that master role is so powerful that it changes everything. Any dynamic that you have around you that you regarded as a solid structure, if it is not in alignment with your soul path, it will disintegrate. Now this might sound like it, you know, a little bit unsettling or maybe a bit jarring, but a lot of the time it tends to occur over a period of, say, 6 months, a year, 2 years. Or you might be somebody who's like pulled the etheric tower card and there's just a demolition, okay, and all of the things that are no longer aligned with your master pathway just simply fall away. And that can be quite that's another thing. So I always base what I'm personally experiencing also in alignment with so many other souls, and I'm seeing this occurring very much. So to conclude, there's this incredible period of personal and planetary cleansing occurring now, like completely eclipsing anything that we've seen previously. It's massive, okay? But you might be feeling this very intensely, or you might have now got to the point now where you enjoy the energies. We are supposed to be enjoying this, okay? I know this sounds, you know, like some of you might be, no, I'm literally, I'm at my wit's end. Stop, okay? Take time, stop, reevaluate what it is that's pushing you so hard. Is it you? Is it what you've agreed to do? Is it your outside circumstances? Is it a pattern that is going round and round and round like a hamster wheel in your mental and emotional bodies? All of these will be going at full speed to bring your attention to it. Bring it to a stop. Breathe, ground, hydrate, take time, have fun. All of this work is going to continue around us, regardless of whether we're completely full on with it all the time. It's in the hands of the higher forces now. We are assisting with anchoring and integrating an incredible amount of light where we have signed our soul contracts and agreed to be. So where you are at the moment in time is absolutely perfect for this particular point in your ascension pathway. If you need to move, then invariably you'll be taken off, because once you put yourself into universal flow, once you have said, right, I trust what is going on, and you align yourself with your higher self, then everything falls into place exactly as it should be. But if you're struggling at the moment, if you're feeling very under pressure, look at what you've agreed to do. Look at your personal tests. Look at what you've been pushing yourself with, and maybe bring your foot off the gas a little bit. That's definitely what I've been asked to do, is just to, and I've had to copy other people, basically. Good friends of mine that are going, I'm taking time out. It's not like I'm going on strike. I'm taking some time out, not just a week, not just 2 weeks, but like a month. And although the work continues, it's a little bit like, I'm going to put less pressure on myself. Ease off a little bit. Enjoy the summer or the winter, wherever you may be. Disconnect from the efforts of the third dimensional matrix to kind of draw you in, keep you in fear, because believe me, they're going to continue trying. Like there's newspaper report after newspaper report coming out, or coming through the computer screen, of what they're trying to do each time to trigger people's survival mechanisms, to bring them into that state of fear. It is of no consequence. That vibration does not concern or affect us once we are aligned with the heart center. And now there's so many of us, that's its own field, that's its own consciousness. We've actually really begun to build the golden fifth dimensional matrix all around us, simply by being in that vibration. The fifth dimension isn't a destination, it's a personal vibration. And that personal vibration will set the boundaries of the reality that we therefore choose to live in. So that's worth bearing in mind. So wishing you all a beautiful Friday. Hope you have a lovely weekend, and I'll be back on Monday for a Meditation Monday. Lots of love. Bye for now.